Well, hello, gentlemen. My name is Shay K. Woolfolk. I am the CEO, founder, and dreamer of Kimberly Shoe Designs, based here in Louisville. And as you can see, I create artwork for your feet. Now I know it's a panel of men, and I'm selling ladies' shoes, so this is going to be a little tough. So let's see if I can convince you guys. Kimberly Shoe Designs has always been a passion, and I always say it's kind of therapeutic for me. I started doing it when I became ill, and the realization was I couldn't wear the shoes I wanted. I loved high heels, but I had to wear low heels at that time. My mom, she had 2 artificial hip implants, same thing. So it was kind of born out of necessity. I started creating shoes for women in the church, people I'd run into, and kind of did it as a hobby for a few years. 2015, decided to make it into an official business. So I made it into an LLC, and in the last 6 months, I have grown this brand into a citywide, business. And I can honestly say, one, Louisville has been super supportive, and I'm just thankful for that. And my background is marketing and branding. And when I looked at the shoe, I thought, who do I market to? If you're a woman and you got some feet, I'm gonna market to you some kind of way. And I'll even get a couple of men to come in. Men love, believe it or not, about 33% of my consumer is the man. They buy them for their wives. You will be a hit in your household. Make your wife mad, come to see me. We'll get you some shoes together. I mean, we customize it. It's a complete VIP experience. You sit down with me, you tell me what you're looking for, you tell me your price point. I understand budget constraints. I've been there. I loved $1,000 shoes, but I couldn't afford it. So, we'll kind of work together, we'll come up with a design, and we just start the design process. One of the great selling points for a lot of the women that have sat down with me is they've never had an opportunity to have something made just for them. So it's kind of like being in a, couture design house, but I'll work within your budget. And sales have been really good. The company has grown. Brand recognition has really grown. And I'm looking forward to any input from you gentlemen, and to see where I can take this brand, because I have goals besides this. I'm branding myself because I want this brand to be synonymous with empowerment, helping others. I want, when you come to me and you get a shoe from Shay K. Woolfolk, you had an experience. I made you feel special. I may give you back some self-esteem. I may just sowed a positive seed into your life. But whatever it is, I want it to be an experience that you remember.
So every shoe's custom made?
Every shoe. I consider the blank shoe. I call them blanks. But every design is whatever you have in mind. And we work around. You may not know what you want when you sit down with me. Once we start conversing, I might show you some pictures and we'll come up with an idea.
So you go to the client's home?
Well, as of right now, my studio and workspace is in my home. And one of the things that I want to do with funds is secure a studio and an office space so that my clients can come when they consult. I want them to feel like they're in Hollywood. I want them to feel luxurious. I don't want them to have to come to the house and hear my kids and the dog and the cat. So that's one of the things that I want to do. But as of right now, I'll either go to them, we may meet. I even have people who just call me and say, give me a design. And that's where we go.
Now, Shay, the whole Hollywood luxurious sounds expensive. How much money are you looking for?
I'm looking for $20,000 for 20% of the company.
It's a big idea, but will it get backing from any of our funders? We'll see if the shoe fits with our panel of investors when Dream Funders returns. I'm Melissa Fraser, back with you on Dream Funders, where we're matching local entrepreneurs with local investors. Earlier, we met Shay, who's looking for funding for her line of custom footwear and apparel.
Put them on social media and they sell like that.
She's offering big money looks without the big dollar price tag. But will our investors put their money behind her?
So every shoe's custom made?
Every shoe. I consider the blank shoe. I call them blanks. But every design is whatever you have in mind. And we work around. You may not know what you want when you sit down with me. Once we start conversing, I might show you some pictures and we'll come up with an idea.
So you go to the client's home?
Well, as of right now, my studio and workspace is in my home. And one of the things that I want to do with funds is secure a studio and an office space so that my clients can come when they consult, I want them to feel like they're in Hollywood. I want them to feel luxurious. I don't want, them to have to come to the house and hear my kids and the dog and the cat. So that's one of the things that I want to do. But as of right now, I'll either go to them, we may meet. I even have people who just call me and say, give me a design. And that's where we go.
Now, Shay, the whole Hollywood luxurious sounds expensive. How much money are you looking for?
I'm looking for $20,000 for 20% of the company.
That gets you Hollywood?
Believe it or not, I've created some businesses on budget, so I source material, and a lot of people laugh. I'm constantly having things shipped from overseas, wherever I need to save, so I can work on a budget. And a shoe, as simple as this, believe it or not, my margins are about 65%.
So what are your prices typically?
A shoe like this, believe it or not, is right at about $100. But then I have shoes that also sell for $7 or $8. That is for that woman who, she doesn't care. And those are handcrafted crystals, imported. So it's purely what my consumer needs. If you see a $1,000 shoe, but you don't have that budget, what I do is I create the concept of let's take different mediums, get that same look. And of course it's not as much time. So every shoe pretty much has a good margin left right now.
So how are you going to scale you?
I'm sorry?
How are you going to replicate yourself?
I can't replicate myself. It's just little old me doing this one shoe.
Well, you can only see so many people a day.
I know. Well, here's the thing. For me, when I look at the shoe, and the realization was I can only do so many things. I want to build a name. I want it to be worth it. When you come and sit down and you buy if you buy a $500 shoe, it's an experience. A lot of people are buying shoes, especially women, based off name alone. Hence me building myself as a brand, building my name, because eventually the realization is I'm going to have to change some price points.
Now, who makes the shoes?
The blank shoes, I source them from all over. And I even have clients, they'll bring me an old shoe. I never box them in. The price will be according. If you bring me an old shoe, then, we'll price it that way.
So the value you're adding is basically decorating the shoe.
Basically. This one seems to catch a lot
That
of
one
eyes.
looks like Tony to me.
Really?
That's the one you
We'll
want.
see.
Tony can be wearing that New Year's Eve.
That shoe itself, the cost to make that was $30, and it sells for between $95 and $100. This year, my sales have been $10,000, and that's only been in the last 6 months because I've gone really hard these last 5.5, 6 months, since about June the 10th. So if I can do that in 6 months, think what I'll do in a year, and in 2 years.
Are you just doing this part-time?
About 5 to 6 hours a week, actually. Like I said, my background's marketing and branding, so I do some other things. And they're all cumulative into what I want to do with this brand and some other things.
And if you sell $10,000 worth of shoes, what are your costs?
I can probably keep costs around about $2,000. I keep things very minimal. Example, when I want to get stones, I realize it takes a while for them to get here from overseas. So I order months in advance, and what most people pay hundreds for, I may only pay $2 or $3 for.
So how do you communicate to the manufacturer what the design is?
So to my client,
No, to whoever manufactures the shoe.
I do.
How do you design
I do it. The design is here. I buy the blank shoe. My design is here. So that's
you put it together.
right. So I talk with the consumer, but having software where I could put the visuals, that would make it much easier for the consumer. Not so much for me, but for them. It's kind of an ego stroke to have a pair of shoes nobody else has. For women, you guys. and you'll be surprised, the men that come, they'll buy the shoe, they get kudos. I had a gentleman buy some the other day. We put his wife's name on it. He delivers them at the hair salon. Every woman in there clapped for him. He was just a hero that day. So, it is an ego thing, and she knew no one else was going to have the shoe. So that's one of the selling points.
I just don't know anything about this business. I don't think I could be helpful to you, so unfortunately I have to be out.
I understand.
Yeah, I love your spirit too, but you probably picked the wrong crowd. But for me, the problem is you just can't scale yourself. So I'm out.
Right now, it's going to be a limited. You get an upside. The upside, the limit of the business is how many pairs of shoes that you can make out of your house, right? And there's only so many of those.
Yeah, there's only one of me, and I totally, I've thought about that, and it's not. I'm always open to new avenue. So thank you.
Yeah, the other thing is, I think you just need a lot more money. The valuation is great, at $100,000, but I think you need to put a lot more money into it and think about, your brand a little bit more.
Thank you. I just had a free business class. Thank you. But, I appreciate the input, and I definitely will take all those into consideration. Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you, Shay.
Thank you. And I'm going to take my shoe back, though.